Good evening. Welcome to our Beehive annual meeting. We welcome everyone that's here, our members, and we also welcome members that are with us through technology. We want to, tonight we had an opening and an invocation that was given by Jake Denny, a member of our management team. We want to thank everyone for their contributions and work that they did for this meeting. I now call the 62nd annual board meeting to order. Beehive. And we'd like to welcome everyone that's here. We have previously appointed Matt Nielsen as our parliamentarian for tonight's meeting. I would now like to ask Bonnie Peterson to come forward and assert that we have a quorum.
I ascertain that we have a quorum present.
Thank you. Bonnie's our secretary, our board secretary, and I did not introduce myself. I'm Thane Robinson. I'm the board chair this year. We'll make several minute motions tonight, and if in doing so, I would ask you state your name, state the motion. I will repeat it. That way we will not have any trouble getting those into the minutes. The minutes from the 2022 annual meeting has been distributed in front of some of you. I would entertain a motion from the floor to approve those minutes from last year's meeting. Brent Bean makes a motion. Is there a second? Grant Johnson with a second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you. We'll have 4 reports tonight, and we'll do it in this order. We'll first hear from Grant Johnson, our treasurer. We'll then hear from Matt Nelson from the supervisory committee. I will then give the chairman's report, and then following me, we'll hear from Craig Gilmore, our president and CEO. Grant.
As I was leaving home, my wife asked me if I was nervous at this, and I said, heck no. And she said, then why are you wearing one black sock and one blue? We would like to thank you as members of the Beehive Federal Credit Union. Here are a few highlights of our success for 2022. Our growth over the years 2020 and 2021 were quite large, and you need to know those years so you'll understand 22. But in 2021, our deposit growth grew by $181 million. Our loans grew by $61 million. And then in 2022, the trend was reversed. Our deposit growth was approximately $9 million, and our loan growth was $109 million. Lending is the primary purpose of the credit union, so 2022 was a year of tremendous benefit to our members. We also celebrated a milestone as of January 2022 when our credit union surpassed $500 million in assets. This is another indication of the trust the members of the credit union have in us and the value they see in their membership. Earnings and capital gains at the end of the year 2022 were the net worth ratio was 8.29%. Net worth represents, of course, the safety net that the people have in the credit union that allows us to pursue our strategic goals and during times of economic downturn, which we have felt. Net worth of 7% is generally considered well capitalized. Beehive has held a net worth ratio above 7% for the last 18 years. Our return on assets for 2022 was 1.04%, which added 5.5 million to our net worth safety net. Also, as far as membership growth, we have enjoyed an average membership growth of 5.25% over the past 10 years. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Nielsen. I'm one of 5 members of the Supervisory Committee to deliver the annual report. The Supervisory Committee oversees the audits to ensure compliance is adhered to with the governing laws, regulations, and policies established by the Board of Directors and the NCUA. The committee's highest priority is to ensure members' assets are protected and safe through these audits. With the help of our accounting department and compliance officer, we also perform regular internal audits and testing to review procedures regarding the day-to-day activities with a verbal report of the results presented to the board. This past year, we contracted with the CPA firm of Rudd & Company for an annual agreed-upon procedures audit for the financial activities of the previous 12 months. The audit was conducted for the year ended August 31st, 2022 and completed in January 2023 with minimal findings. Committee members, along with management team, have reviewed the reports from these activities and addressed or begin to address all of these issues. It is important to note that with the growth of the credit union, a decision has also been made to do an even more comprehensive financial audit in future years. The fiscal year will also be moving to a calendar year in 2023. We, the Supervisory Committee, appreciate your continued confidence in our oversight role. We also appreciate the support and cooperation we receive from the Board of Directors, management, and the staff, and it's our privilege to serve you. We're happy to conclude by stating we are confident that adequate controls are in place and the operations are sound. Committee members Josh Holt, Chair, Matt Nielsen, Blake Johnson, Robin Dunlop, and Keith Scholes.
Thank you. You know, the board would like to thank all of our members and thank them for the trust that they have in the credit union and the confidence they have. We have come a long ways from, we've doubled our assets in just the last 7 years, but we've come a long way since we were formed in 1960, and it's a tribute to the members and a long-term members that we have here within the credit union. This last year, 2022, was a very turbulent year. All of us kind of saw a little bit with the high interest rates, and it was challenging for everyone financially. And with the current uncertainty of 2023 and the economic conditions the country's in right now, it can also be challenging as well. But as we've come out of COVID and the current state of Beehive, we are financially sound. I guess the best description in banking terms would be is that we're well capitalized and we're in good shape to handle the next year and the year after. Fortunately, several years ago, Beehive had the insight to offer commercial loans to our members. And the commercial loan department here at Beehive has helped us maintain a valid position for the last year and this coming year. And it's very well appreciated. As Grant mentioned, our assets now are over $554 million. And we have over 33,300 members. And both of those two numbers are numbers that have doubled in the last 7 years. We are still growing, but we're growing steadily and conservatively. And we still maintain that Beehive culture, regardless of how big we want to be or how big we want to go. We're still down to where the member is the most important person in the credit union. And that culture exists, and employees magnify that culture in their duties and what they do. They make sure the member knows that they're important, and whatever they need, we'll take care of them for them. We're still pursuing and looking at other services for our members constantly, but we'd also like to encourage all of our members to look at the services we currently offer and see if there are services that they're not using. Sometimes somebody only uses a checking account or a debit card. But there's many services we have here, everything from our missionary loans to our investments and life insurance to our discounts we have at vendors and good rates on our CDs and good loan rates. We want to make sure that our members take advantage of everything that we have. We want you to be assured that the board, the supervisory committee, the management team, and the members are looking out for you. They're qualified, they're very competent in performing their duties, and they have your best interest at heart. Our number one goal, our number one aspect is whatever we do, how do we affect the member? We want to make sure the member realizes that and feels good about that. Again, we want to thank you for being members. And we'll now turn the time over to Craig Gummel.
Thank you, Thane, and I appreciate everyone that's joining us and viewing this annual meeting tonight. Appreciate your attendance. I'd like to stand here and tell you that life's been boring at the credit union, but I'm sure you are aware that that is very opposite of what is true. For whatever reason, as Thane was mentioning, the theme of the day seems to be unprecedented events, from the global pandemic to historically low interest rates, to then historically high inflation, to historically high increases in rates, the speed at which those rates are increasing, to now we find ourselves in a banking crisis unfolding in the past week. The market swings have been significant, even extraordinary in nature. And yet, through all this market turmoil, Beehive continues its conservative approach to providing safe products and services to its members throughout the nation. Since 1960, the board of directors and Beehive team members have carefully guided the credit union with cautious principles for managing risk. I am pleased to report that Beehive is in a strong position to weather this latest challenge to American financial institutions. This latest crisis revolves around financial institutions who grew deposits with uninsured depositors and left them exposed to one industry. For example, the second and third largest bank failures in our country's history have occurred in the past 6 days. The percentage of uninsured deposits were 93.9% and 89.7% for those two banks, respectively. When the floods came, uninsured depositors acted as part of a sandy foundation. They quickly picked up their smartphones and shifted their money to other institutions. Beehive is the mirror opposite of these institutions. Silicon Valley Bank had 93% uninsured deposits. Beehive has 93% insured deposits. Please let me state these numbers a different way. For every dollar deposited at Silicon Valley Bank, only 6 cents was insured. For every dollar deposited at Beehive, 93 cents of that dollar is insured. I want to thank Beehive's member depositors and the role they have in playing in building the credit union and also our community that we serve. I mentioned a second factor of risk for these failed banks, their heavy focus on one industry. Silicon Valley Bank's narrow focus on the tech startup sector left them vulnerable when the easy tech investment money stopped flowing. Likewise, Signature Bank's exposure to the cryptocurrency business made them vulnerable to a sharp cash flow change in that industry. Contrast this with Beehive's diverse portfolio of deposits and loans. In fact, over the past 5 years, Beehive expanded its field membership beyond the Intermountain West to the nation, expanded into business lending and business services, expanded into a new branch in the Meridian, Idaho market. All three of these actions increased the scope and breadth of our members' financial backgrounds. This extends to our members' work, whom they work for, what industries they work for and are involved in, and the geography of where they live. I am confident in saying Beehive has never been more diversified from a deposit and loan standpoint as we are today. Beyond the stark differences in diversification and insurance, I want to touch on a couple additional facts. And I appreciate our board treasurer, Grant Johnson, talking about our capital position, because that is one of them. Our regulator, NCUA, National Credit Union Association, uses two different measurements to measure credit unions' liquidity and if we have proper reserves, as mentioned before. In both cases, Beehive obtains the top tier, well capitalized. I'd also mention that the second ratio was just introduced last year by NCUA and to scrutinize financial credit union's capital risk position. To obtain the top tier, a credit union must have 10% or greater. Beehive has a risk capital ratio of 12.88%. Individually, Beehive continues to exceed well above the capital minimums. Stepping back from Beehive, the credit industry as a whole remains strong and well capitalized. Unlike the banking system where only 53 cents per dollar of deposits are insured, at credit unions it's over 91% insured by the federal government. Credit union deposits are protected by the credit union share insurance fund and insure up to at least $250,000 per depositor. It is important to note credit unions fund their own insurance. Let me repeat this a different way. No taxpayer money has ever been used to bail out a credit union. This is different than the taxpayer bailouts to the savings and loan industry and the banking industry. Beehive is proud to be part of the credit union movement, where we pay our own way and exist to serve our members and not take undue risk for stockholders. I invite Beehive members to visit with one of our team members about deposit insurance and how through proper planning, even money above $250,000 can be protected with insurance through careful, thoughtful account ownership setup. Now I'd like to shift gears on you. The credit union is excited to announce a new branch location for North Rexburg on the corner of 2nd East and Moody Road. This corner lot is directly south of the Walmart gas station, and a Beehive Coming Soon sign was placed there 2 hours ago. The area around the North Rexburg exit will see considerable change in the next few years with significant real estate development in the pipeline. We are excited to place a branch right in the middle of that action and serve our members. We recognize our members in the small communities north of Rexburg and their contributions to the credit union. This branch will move Beehive a step closer to their daily activities. We also anticipate large growth in traffic and rooftops north of Rexburg. Please keep an eye out for a groundbreaking later this year. To our members that live far away from a branch, or even close to a branch, please keep an eye out for two things. First, Beehive will introduce additional communication tools for you to connect with a Beehive team member. Enhanced text, chat, and video chat will improve your ability to conduct business, receive answers, and find solutions using these communication tools and the communication channel that you are most comfortable with. Second, these digital communication tools will have extended hours, where members can reach a Beehive team member from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. These two communication enhancements will launch in the next 2 months. The credit union wants to meet you where you are and when you need us. We envision this as a step in a series of steps to improve the ability and availability for you to connect with Beehive. In closing, Beehive continues to conservatively manage our risk, expand its physical services and its digital services, and Beehive team members appreciate the opportunity to serve you and your family's financial needs. Thank you for your membership at Beehive Federal Credit Union.
Thank you, Craig. And as you can see, we're in good hands. The board of directors of the credit union has no unfinished business at this time. Is there any members that know of unfinished business that need to be brought forward? Seeing none, the credit union board of directors has no new business to be performed at this meeting. Does anyone have any new business that needs to be performed? Seeing none, we'd like to, right now, Grant, would you come up for us for just a second? Grant has been on our board for a number of years and decided not to run this last time. And so this is it. This is his fond farewell. We'd like to present this to Grant. Thank you for him, and thank you for all the diligent work that you did. We appreciate you, Grant. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
You made it.
I was on the board before Craig was hired here.
This count is number 2. No. We'd like to ask Matt Nelson now to come up and talk, give us our election results for our election for our board members.
Earlier this evening, the committee members on the supervisory committee met and we counted the votes, and the following individuals were elected to the board: Bonnie Peterson and Josh Fulmer.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, all of you that ran for the board. Sometimes I ran once 30 years ago, and as you know, I didn't get on the board 30 years ago. But we appreciate your effort and what you've done. I'd like to entertain a motion now to destroy the ballots of the voting. Thank you, Shane. Berger made a motion to destroy the ballots. Is there a second? Kurt Gifford seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye. Any nay, say nay. Thank you very much. All the business reports and activities of the 62nd annual meeting have been completed. I now would entertain a motion to adjourn. If you want to stay all night. Bonnie. Bonnie Peterson with a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Tim Kershaw with a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. We want to thank everyone who attended this evening. We want to thank our members, especially our members. Always thank them for what they've done and the help that we can give them, and also the help that you give us by maintaining this strong credit union. And we'd like to adjourn at this time. Thank you.